Hey, welcome back. This is the last video on sets. I know it's been such a brutal long section of 2 whole videos on sets, probably the shortest topic we'll cover, but there are some built-in set methods we need to discuss. Unlike tuples, which only had, 2 methods we talked about, there are a couple more to talk about with sets, but it's still pretty straightforward. So let's get going. And the first one we'll look at is called add. So if we have a set, we need a way to add data in as we go, unless we have it all at the beginning when we initialize the set, but a lot of times we want to be able to add items. So all we do is call s, whatever our set is, it's a set method, so the name of a set dot add, and then we pass in a piece of data, a number, a string, or so on. And if the number or string or the piece of data is already in there, like if we try and add 4 the first time, it works. And if we try and add it again, it doesn't throw an error or anything. It just doesn't add it. So if I have this cities set from the last video, and I tried to add Vancouver, and we look at cities, that works just fine. You can see Vancouver right there. And if I try to add Kyoto again or something like that, no error, but it doesn't show up twice. See, there it is, only one time. Okay, so that's add. Next is remove. So remove will remove a value from a set. It looks like this. Here's our set. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I want to remove 3, well, if it's in there, it will be removed. So let's try that again. Here we have cities, and let's do cities.remove. Let's remove Oslo. And if we look at cities now, I can't spell, you can see it's gone. Now, if I tried to remove something that isn't in this, why do I keep spelling cities like that? Oh my gosh. If I try and remove something that isn't in there, like Moscow, I get an error. So it will throw an error if the item is not in the set that you're trying to remove. Okay, so that's add and remove, the 2 ways, really the only ways of adding and removing items. If we do need to avoid those key errors, we can use another method called .discard. So I'll briefly show that. If I did the same thing as cities.discard Moscow, and we look at cities, we don't get an error. Moscow was never there, so nothing happened. But if I use discard again and remove something like Santiago, and we look at cities, it's also been removed. So if you don't want to worry about those errors, then you can use discard instead. Next up is copy. Copy is very straightforward. It just makes a copy of the set. Remember that just like when we use copy with lists or with dictionaries, it will make a duplicate of the data and things look the same, but they are not identical. If we use is, so in this case we have s is our first set, and we make another s as a copy. If we look at another s, it looks the same. Double equals would be true, but if we compared it using is, it's false because they are not the exact same thing in memory. They are copies. Okay. Next is clear, also a very straightforward one, which removes the entire contents of the set, starts over. It deletes everything. So I won't do it. I don't want to sacrifice our cities set, but if I did cities.clear, it would just show up empty. Next, I'm going to show something that's a little different. So set math is kind of a subset of math in the real world, not just in Python, where we work with sets. You may have seen set notation before. And often we do things like find the intersection of sets, or the union, or the symmetric difference. If you're not familiar with what these are, don't worry. I'm going to show just a couple of examples very, very quickly. So let's go to Sublime. Here I have a file. Focus on these 2 lines. Suppose that I'm a teacher in a high school or college or something, and I have 2 courses, a math course and a biology course. And I have student names as a set for each one. This does assume, by the way, that the students have unique first names. There could be 2 Matthews or 2 Janes or something. We're not going to worry about that for now. So these are all my students. Let's say that I'm sending out report cards or something that I need to do for each student one time. And I want to basically generate a set of all of my students without any duplicates. What I want there is called the union. I want to take all of the names that are on this list plus all the names on this list, but I don't want to have duplicates. Like I don't want James twice or Matthew twice, for example. To do that, it's very simple. Let me just bring this over, paste it in. So we have two sets. And I use this little pipe, which is on my keyboard, it's above the return key. You have to hit shift to get it. And I'll do pipe biology students, which this is a way of saying union, set union. And if I look at the result, I get how many items are in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there's no duplicate. So this is a list of, or a set of all of my students once. But I can also do set intersections, which in this case would tell me the set of students who are in both of my courses. So to do that, it's the same syntax, except instead of the or, we use an and, like an ampersand above the 7 key. And it tells me, okay, James and Matthew are your two students that you have in both courses. So in the rest of this Python course, we probably won't be doing much set math, but it's just worth knowing that these are things that you can do with sets, because sets are these, unique collections of data. And if you have multiple sets, you often want to find things like where do they intersect? Where are they different? What's the total, unique entries between 3 different sets? That sort of thing. You can do that using set math. That's all that I'll say about that for now, and I'll add it in here. I'll type a little note up, just a moment. There we go. So I encourage you to play around with this, try doing it with 3 or 4 different sets. And I'll end this video here. All that we have left to talk about with sets is set comprehension. So that's next, and then we're done. And then we move on to my favorite topic, functions.